everybody, welcome back to another video within the AWS Solution Architect series. And in this video, we'll be talking about IAM roles. So let's talk about first how you can access AWS and what are the methods through which you can access AWS. So we have three methods through which we can access AWS services. The very first one is through obviously management console. If you have just signed up, this is like the most simple one that you might be using. And for this method, you would be using your password plus your uh, MFA. The second method is the CMD, which is the command line tools. And for this, you require access keys, which you'll have to uh, generate through your account. And the third part is through SDKs. And this again would be accessed through access keys. Right. Speaking of access keys specifically, so access key specifies a access key ID, which happens to be your username. And there's also a secret to this access key, which basically acts as your password. All right. Speaking of IAM rules, IAM rules, not rules, IAM rules specifically. All right. So, what are IAM rules? So, we talked about IAM policies and how they can be attached to a particular account, a particular user, or a particular user group. So, where does IAM role actually come within that picture? So, IAM role is specifically for those services that need to perform actions on your behalf. So, we assign permissions to AWS services with this particular role. For example, your EC2 instance, which happens to be the fundamental of any computing that you'll do within AWS, if it needs to access a particular uh, S3 bucket. So what you can do, you can build default role for that. And the same behavior can be replicated for Lambda functions. If they want to access a particular service, then you can use a specific role for that. So this is what you should remember. Let's try it with a different code base. Yeah, so here's your AWS service. It can be any service. And if it needs to access another AWS service, and this particular AWS service can be engulfed by some network restrictions, or it can just be, encapsulated within different network completely. So in that case, having a role would make more sense. Also, if you have more roles, it's sort of easier to navigate within your organization. If somebody needs a specific work to be done, then if you have created a role for that, then it just becomes easy. Perfect. Let's talk about a few security tools that you can use within the IAM landscape. So, security tools. The very first one is something that you would use commonly if you are operating within an organization, and it happens to be IAM credential report. So, as the name suggests, it is a sort of a report which sort of presents a form of a list of all your account users and the status of their various credentials. So it's more like an account level report. So we can say this is a account level reporting. So if you need to know like details about your MFA and the age of your access keys, the last activity of a particular user, password compliance, then IAM credential report is definitely going to help you with that. The other report which uh, you can leverage within the IAM landscape is IAM Access Advisor. Commonly known as IAM Advisor. So, Access Advisor shows service permissions granted to a user and when those services were last accessed. So, this is more like a user level reporting. So, in an exam, you just need to know the difference between these two. So you can be asked about a use case which is specific to a user, then definitely your answer would be IAM Access Advisor. But if the question asks you to dig in more detail about certain aspects, then IAM Credential Report sort of gives you a whole account level perspective. So yeah, that's pretty much it about IAM rules and um, a bit of an introduction of how you can uh, leverage IAM through reporting. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video.